Ilara stood on the platform, her lavender eye scanning the unfamiliar crowd. She felt utterly displaced. People stared, their expressions a mixture of apprehension and fascination. Whispers and pointed fingers accompanied by nervous laughter made Ilara's heart sink. After traveling light years, she'd hoped for acceptance and understanding, not ridicule and fear. Her skin shimmered with hues unknown to human eyes, her slender limbs and vibrant violet eyes marking her as otherworldly. She was different, and they made sure she felt it. Ilara's mission was vital, to initiate discussions with Earth's leaders about a possible alliance. Instead of a diplomat's welcome, she was treated like a curiosity, an oddity. She'd anticipated being perceived as different, but the harshness of their reactions was unexpected. The constant ridicule was relentless. Children, giggling and pointing, were scolded by parents who were themselves secretly amused. Adults, their voices just loud enough for her to hear, muttered words like creature and abnormality. The sting was sharp, but Ilara maintained her composure. She'd faced difficulties before. Her people, the Valorinians, had always been unique. Their society valued respect for all life, regardless of appearance. Their minds were sharp, their bodies adapted to the rigors of space travel, and their hearts were compassionate. Yet here, all Ilara saw were judging faces, some fearful, others filled with distaste. They didn't know her, yet they treated her with disdain simply for her non-human appearance. Ilara had never experienced such profound isolation. On Valais, she'd always felt accepted. She'd been raised to believe in the inherent goodness of others. But here, the hoped-for warmth was replaced by icy stares. Walking down the street, she overheard a group of young men. Heard they brought in some weird thing from space. Looks like a twig with skin, one of them sneered, causing his friends to laugh. Ilara felt their gazes on her back. It was a recurring theme. People laughed, pointed, and whispered. Sometimes, their eyes held a flicker of fear, as if they expected her to suddenly become hostile. Ilara had no such intentions. She carried no weapons, sought no conquest. She simply wanted to communicate, to find common ground, to demonstrate that not all extraterrestrials were dangerous. Their unwillingness to see beyond her appearance was evident. Difference equated to danger in their minds. Ilara attempted to ignore the laughter, quickening her pace toward the embassy where she was to meet Earth's leaders. Perhaps there she'd find understanding, a reprieve from the sense of alienation. But the laughter echoed, as if the whole world mocked her. She'd trained for years, preparing for this mission, yet nothing could have prepared her for the cruel words, the cold stares, the pervasive laughter. They couldn't see past her exterior, judging her solely on what they saw, not who she was. At the embassy entrance, a man in a suit greeted her, his face stiff, but his eyes curious. "Welcome to Earth, Ilara," he said. "We're honored to have you." The words were polite, but Ilara sensed a lack of sincerity. She'd seen the way he looked at her, the way his eyes avoided hers. "Thank you," she replied softly, forcing a smile. Exhaustion weighed on her, exhaustion from the stares, the laughter. She longed to complete her mission and return home, but she knew it wouldn't be easy. Stepping inside, she thought of her Valerian people. They would never treat her this way, never laugh, point, or fear her difference. They would see her for who she was. But here, she was an anomaly, an outsider. Taking a deep breath, Ilara pushed those thoughts aside. She had a purpose, and she would fulfill it. She had to prove she wasn't the monster they perceived her to be, to demonstrate she was just like them, just from a different world. But looking at the staring faces, she couldn't help but wonder if she'd ever truly find acceptance, or if she'd always be the alien, the one who didn't belong. Entering the meeting room, she met Adrian. The room buzzed with conversation, thick with the aroma of coffee. Human leaders sat at a large table, engaged in diplomatic discussions. Ilara's entrance brought a sudden hush. Every gaze felt like a pinprick. She stood tall, but her heart was heavy. She'd attended many such meetings, but Earth was different. The people seemed nervous, unsure how to react to her presence. They didn't know what to expect. Ilara braced herself for the whispers, the judging stares. It was difficult to maintain her composure, but this mission was too important to let fear take over. A man in a dark suit rose and approached her, his face calm, his eyes kind. Unlike the others, he showed no fear or surprise. Instead, his eyes held understanding, perhaps even curiosity. "Ilara," he said, his voice firm but warm. "I'm Adrian. I'll be your guide during your stay." Ilara looked up, surprised by his composure. Most humans either stared or averted their gaze. But Adrian's dark brown eyes met hers directly, his strong face softened by an unexpected kindness. "Thank you for welcoming me," Ilara replied, her voice gentle. She attempted a smile, but it felt awkward. She'd studied Earth extensively, yet she still struggled to comprehend human emotions. They were more complex than she'd anticipated. "Of course," Adrian said with a small nod. "It's an honor to have you here." He led her to a chair, and as she sat, Ilara felt a strange sense of relief. For the first time, she didn't feel entirely out of place. Adrian didn't treat her like a strange creature, but like a person. The meeting commenced, but Ilara found it hard to concentrate. Her thoughts kept returning to Adrian. Why was he different? Why didn't he react with the same fear as everyone else? Was he simply being polite, or did he genuinely see her as more than just an alien? As the meeting progressed, Ilara occasionally glanced at Adrian. He listened attentively, nodding in understanding. His focus was unwavering, and for a moment, Ilara felt like her words truly mattered. After days of being ignored or mocked, Adrian's attention was a welcome change. Eventually, Ilara's translator beeped, signaling the end of her speech. She looked around, expecting the usual expressions of confusion or judgment. Instead, there was silence. Then Adrian stood and addressed the room. "Everyone," he said, his voice steady and clear, "we need to listen. Ilara has come to us with an open heart. We shouldn't judge her based on her appearance or origin, but on her actions and words. I believe she has something important to offer. We must not let fear obstruct understanding." Ilara's heart fluttered. She'd never heard anyone speak like that on Earth. People seemed so afraid of the unknown, of anything different. But Adrian didn't see her as something to fear. He saw her as someone worth listening to. The room remained quiet, but Ilara sensed a shift in the atmosphere. It was a small start, but it was something. For the first time, she didn't feel completely alone. Alana's lavender eyes swept across the unfamiliar faces thronging the platform. She felt profoundly adrift. The stares of the crowd were a disconcerting blend of anxiety and fascination. Whispers, pointed fingers, and uneasy laughter made Alana's spirits plummet. After a journey of countless light years, she had yearned for acceptance and understanding, not ridicule and fear. Her skin shimmered with an otherworldly iridescence, her delicate frame and striking violet eyes setting her apart. She was undeniably different, and they made certain she felt it keenly. Alana's mission was of paramount importance, to open a dialogue with Earth's leaders about a potential alliance. However, instead of a dignitary's welcome, she was met with gawking curiosity, treated like an exhibit. She had anticipated being perceived as unusual, but the intensity of their reactions was jarring. The ceaseless mockery was relentless. Children, giggling and pointing, were reprimanded by their parents, who themselves harbored a covert amusement. Adults, their voices just loud enough to reach her ears, muttered words like strange and peculiar. The slight was palpable, but Alana maintained her composure, drawing strength from past experiences. The Valyrians, Alana's people, had always been distinctive. Their civilization championed reverence for all life, regardless of form. Their intellect was sharp, their bodies resilient to the demands of interstellar travel, and their hearts overflowing with compassion. Yet, on Earth, all Alana encountered were scrutinizing stares, some apprehensive, others tinged with aversion. They didn't know her, yet they treated her with contempt solely because of her non-human appearance. Alana had never known such utter isolation. On Valais, she had always felt embraced. She had been nurtured to believe in the inherent goodness of others. Here, however, the anticipated warmth was supplanted by icy gazes. As she walked along the street, she overheard a group of young men. "They say they've brought in some oddity from space. Looks like a stick insect," one of them scoffed, prompting laughter from his companions. Alana felt their gazes fixed on her back. This was a recurring experience. People laughed, pointed, and whispered. Occasionally, a spark of fear flickered in their eyes, as though they expected her to become aggressive. Alana harbored no such intentions. She carried no weapons, sought no dominion. She simply desired to communicate, to discover common ground, to demonstrate that not all extraterrestrials posed a threat. Their reluctance to see beyond her appearance was striking. In their minds, difference translated to danger. Alana struggled to disregard the laughter, hastening her steps toward the embassy where she was scheduled to meet Earth's leaders. Perhaps there she would find understanding, a respite from the pervasive sense of alienation. However, the laughter seemed to pursue her, as if the entire world was mocking her. She had undergone years of training, meticulously preparing for this mission, yet nothing could have prepared her for the hurtful words, the frigid stares, the omnipresent laughter. They were unable to see beyond her exterior, judging her exclusively on her appearance, not on her essence. At the embassy entrance, a man in a suit greeted her, his expression reserved, but his eyes betraying a hint of curiosity. "Welcome to Earth, Alana," he said. "We're privileged to have you." The words were courteous, but Alana detected a lack of genuine warmth. She had observed the way he looked at her, the way his eyes darted away from hers. "Thank you," she replied softly, summoning a forced smile. Exhaustion enveloped her, exhaustion from the stares, the laughter. She longed for the swift completion of her mission and a return to her home, but she knew it wouldn't be a simple task. Stepping inside, she thought of her Valerian kindred. They would never treat her in this manner, never laugh, point, or fear her uniqueness. They would perceive her true self. Here, however, she was an anomaly, an outsider. Drawing a deep breath, Alana pushed these thoughts aside. She had a purpose, and she was determined to fulfill it. She had to demonstrate that she wasn't the menacing figure they envisioned, to show them she was fundamentally like them, simply from another world. However, gazing at the staring faces, she couldn't suppress the lingering doubt of whether she would ever truly find acceptance, or if she would perpetually remain the alien, the one who didn't belong. Entering the meeting room, she met Ashton. The room hummed with conversation, heavy with the scent of coffee. Human leaders were seated at a large table, engrossed in diplomatic discussions. Alana's arrival brought a sudden silence. Every gaze felt like a pinprick. She stood tall, but her heart felt heavy. She had attended numerous such meetings, yet Earth felt distinctly different. The attendees seemed apprehensive, uncertain how to respond to her presence. They were filled with anticipation. Zora and Alex worked tirelessly, their bond deepening amidst the escalating crisis. They spent hours discussing strategies, sharing their fears and hopes, finding solace in each other's presence. Zora, who had once felt so alien on Earth, now felt a sense of belonging, a connection to this world and its people, a connection forged through shared purpose and mutual respect. She found herself drawn to Alex's strength, his unwavering belief in their cause, his ability to see beyond the surface and recognize the inherent good in others, even when faced with fear and prejudice. One evening, as they sat overlooking the city lights, Alex turned to Zora, his expression serious. "We need to do more," he said. "Words aren't enough. We need to show them, not just tell them." Zora knew he was right. The Purifier's message of fear was spreading like wildfire, and they needed to counter it with something tangible, something that would resonate with the masses. "But what?" she asked, feeling a familiar wave of helplessness wash over her. "We need a symbol," Alex replied, his eyes gleaming with an idea. "Something that represents unity, cooperation, a shared future." He paused, then continued, "What if we built something together? Something that would benefit both humans and aliens?" Zora's eyes widened. It was a bold idea, a risky endeavor, but it held the potential to change everything. She proposed a project that would harness a new, sustainable energy source, a technology that could revolutionize Earth's power grid and demonstrate the Valerians' commitment to helping their new allies. The project began slowly, gathering momentum as more and more people, both human and alien, joined the effort. Scientists, engineers, and laborers worked side by side, their shared purpose transcending their differences. Zora found herself leading the team, her knowledge of Valerian technology proving invaluable. She saw firsthand how the project was changing hearts and minds, how the shared work was breaking down barriers and fostering understanding. But the purifiers were watching, their fear fueled by the growing unity they witnessed. They saw the project as a threat to their agenda, a symbol of the very cooperation they sought to destroy. One night, under the cover of darkness, the purifiers attacked the construction site, their intent clear, to dismantle the project and send a message of fear and intimidation. Zora and Alex, along with a small group of dedicated workers, found themselves defending the site, their commitment to the project outweighing their fear. The clash was brief but intense, a struggle not just for the project, but for the very future they envisioned. Though outnumbered, Zora and her allies stood firm, their resolve fueled by their belief in their shared cause. The next morning, the world awoke to news of the attack. Images of Zora, a Valerian, defending an Earth project alongside humans, flashed across screens, a powerful symbol of unity in the face of adversity. The purifiers had intended to sow fear and division, but their actions had inadvertently created the very symbol of hope they sought to destroy. The tide began to turn. The attack became a rallying cry for those who believed in peace and cooperation. Support for the project surged, and the purifiers' message of fear began to lose its grip. People saw Zora not as a threat, but as a protector, a symbol of the potential for a brighter future. The project continued, now a beacon of hope in a world still grappling with fear and uncertainty. Zora, once an outcast, became a leader, a bridge between two worlds. She had proven that difference wasn't a barrier, but an opportunity for growth, understanding, and a shared future. And in Alex's eyes, she saw not just acceptance, but something deeper, a connection that transcended the differences between their worlds. The days that followed the initial meeting were a whirlwind of diplomatic discussions, strategy sessions, and cultural exchanges. Zora found herself spending increasing amounts of time with Alex, her designated guide. They spoke of their respective worlds, their hopes, and the challenges facing both their peoples. Zora, initially guarded and wary, found herself opening up to Alex, sharing details about Valerian culture, their deep respect for all life, and their dedication to peaceful exploration. Alex, in turn, spoke of Earth's history, its triumphs and its follies, its capacity for both great kindness and shocking cruelty. He confided in Zora about his own struggles with prejudice and ignorance within his own world, confessing his hope that her arrival might spark a much-needed change. Their late-night talks, often overlooking the city's twinkling lights, became a source of comfort for Zora. She confessed her anxieties about the mission, her fear that the Earthlings would never truly accept her and her people. Alex listened patiently, offering words of encouragement and reminding her of the importance of their shared goal. He told her about the growing unrest on Earth, the whispers of fear and suspicion surrounding the arrival of extraterrestrials. He spoke of a group called the Purifiers, who believed that all aliens were inherently dangerous and sought to eradicate their presence on Earth. Zora, already burdened by the weight of her mission, felt a new wave of apprehension. One evening, as they walked through a city park, they witnessed a small protest organized by the Purifiers. The protesters held signs with hateful slogans and chanted derogatory terms about aliens. Zora, stung by their words, wanted to confront them, to defend herself and her people. But Alex held her back, gently reminding her that engaging with them would only fuel their anger and prejudice. Instead, he suggested a different approach. "We need to show them, not just tell them," he said, his eyes gleaming with an idea. "What if we create something together, something that demonstrates the potential for good that comes from cooperation between humans and aliens?" Zora, intrigued, listened as Alex outlined his vision. He proposed a joint project, a collaboration between Valerian and Earth scientists to develop a new, sustainable energy source. It would be a tangible demonstration of the benefits of interspecies cooperation, a symbol of hope in a world increasingly consumed by fear. Zora, her heart filled with a renewed sense of purpose, agreed. She knew that this project, if successful, could be the key to changing hearts and minds, to bridging the divide between their worlds. The project, dubbed the Unity Initiative, quickly gained momentum. Scientists, engineers, and technicians from both Earth and Valais worked side by side, sharing their knowledge and expertise. The project became a beacon of hope, a symbol of the potential for a brighter future. But the purifiers, threatened by the growing unity, saw the project as a dangerous threat to their agenda. They vowed to dismantle it, to prove their point that aliens could never be trusted. One night, under the cover of darkness, the purifiers launched a coordinated attack on the Unity Initiative's research facility. Zura and Alex, along with a small team of security personnel, found themselves defending the facility against the onslaught. Outnumbered but resolute, they fought back, protecting the years of work and the symbol of hope it represented. The clash was intense, a struggle not just for the project, but for the future they envisioned. News of the attack spread like wildfire, and images of Zura, a Valerian, fighting alongside humans to protect a joint project, became a powerful symbol of unity and resilience. The world watched, and many who had once harbored doubts about aliens began to question their prejudices. The purifiers, intending to sow fear and division, had inadvertently created the very symbol of hope they sought to destroy. The tide began to turn. The following weeks were a blur of diplomatic talks, strategic planning, and cultural exchanges. Zura found herself drawn to Alex, her designated guide, and they spent countless hours discussing their respective worlds, hopes, and the challenges facing their peoples. Initially cautious, Zura began to confide in Alex, sharing details of Valerian culture, their profound respect for all life forms, and their commitment to peaceful exploration. Alex, in turn, revealed Earth's complex history, its triumphs and failures, its capacity for both remarkable kindness and shocking cruelty. He shared his personal struggles with prejudice and ignorance within his own world, expressing his hope that Zura's arrival might ignite a much-needed shift in perspective. Their late-night discussions, often conducted under the twinkling city lights, became a source of comfort for Zura. She confided her anxieties about the mission, her fear that Earthlings would never truly accept her and her people. Alex listened patiently, offering words of encouragement and reminding her of the importance of their shared objective. He also revealed the growing unrest on Earth, whispers of fear and suspicion surrounding the arrival of extraterrestrials, and the rise of a group known as the Purifiers, who believed that all aliens were inherently dangerous and sought their eradication from Earth. This news added a new layer of apprehension to Zura's already heavy burden. One evening, while strolling through a city park, they encountered a small demonstration organized by the Purifiers. The protesters brandished signs bearing hostile slogans and chanted derogatory terms about aliens. Zura, deeply hurt by their words, felt a strong urge to confront them, to defend herself and her kind. But Alex gently restrained her, cautioning that engaging would only inflame their anger and prejudice. He proposed an alternative strategy. "We need to demonstrate, not just articulate," he said, his eyes alight with inspiration. "What if we collaborate on a project, something that showcases the potential for positive outcomes arising from cooperation between humans and aliens?" Intrigued, Zura listened as Alex elaborated on his vision. He proposed a joint endeavor, a partnership between Valerian and Earth scientists to develop a novel, sustainable energy source. It would serve as a tangible demonstration of the advantages of interspecies collaboration, a beacon of hope in a world increasingly gripped by fear. Zura, her heart filled with renewed purpose, readily agreed. She understood that this project, if successful, could be the key to transforming perspectives and bridging the chasm between their worlds. The project, designated the Unity Initiative, rapidly gained momentum. Scientists, engineers, and technicians from Earth and Valais collaborated closely, sharing their knowledge and expertise. The project became a symbol of hope, embodying the potential for a brighter future. However, the Purifiers, feeling threatened by the growing unity, perceived the project as a dangerous obstacle to their agenda. They swore to dismantle it, to reinforce their assertion that aliens could never be trusted. One night, cloaked in darkness, the Purifiers launched a coordinated assault on the Unity Initiative's research facility. Zura and Alex, alongside a small contingent of security personnel, found themselves defending the facility against the sudden onslaught. Outnumbered but resolute, they fought back, protecting the years of dedicated work and the symbol of hope it represented. The clash was intense, a battle not merely for the project itself, but for the very future they envisioned. News of the incident rapidly disseminated, and images of Zura, a Valerian, fighting alongside humans to safeguard a joint project, became a potent symbol of unity and resilience. The world watched, and many who had once harbored reservations about aliens began to question their preconceptions. The Purifiers, intending to sow fear and division, had inadvertently created the very emblem of hope they sought to destroy. The tide began to turn, public opinion shifting towards acceptance and understanding. The Unity Initiative, though scarred by the attack, continued, becoming a testament to the power of collaboration and a beacon of hope for a future where differences are celebrated, not feared. Zura, once an outsider, found herself embraced as a hero, a symbol of the potential for harmony between worlds. And in Alex, she discovered not just an ally, but a kindred spirit, their bond forged in the crucible of shared adversity, a testament to the power of connection that transcends the boundaries of species and planets.